Hello, I'm Alex Elish. This is Big Performance Podcast. And today we have Fitz Koehler as my guest. And it is a great honor because at last I get the person who understands performance and understands the correlation between business performance and athletic performance. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
How is your life right now? Where are you located?
My life is spectacular. I have zero complaints in the world. I'm in Florida in the United States, and business is great, and my family is wonderful, and my dogs are the most fun thing ever. So yeah, everything's great.
I saw you also have a podcast. How is that going?
Yeah, the Fitzness Show. The Fitzness Show is doing so well. It's interesting. I launched it in about 2016, and it was doing super uh, well with viewership and listenership and so forth. And then when I got sick, I had cancer, and I'm sure we'll probably mention that. But it took a little bit of a dive just because I wasn't tending to it. But the demand became pretty great. People were saying, you have to bring your podcast back. And so finally, I rebooted it in the fall, and it's back to being fantastic. So I have a lot to say, much like you do. So I enjoy doing the podcast, and I certainly love connecting with my listeners.
And who comes to your podcast? Athletes or like what's the mix there?
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, I would say the average Joe and Jane, people trying to do better and be better. They're grown-ups. I don't know if the teenagers are listening to the fitness show, but donuts, grown-ups who are trying to lose weight or get fit or enjoy running or enjoy sports. I mean, my career kind of branches off in a variety of different direction. I have a lot of professionals that listen because much like you're talking about your health and fitness and athleticism certainly uh, can affect your professional performance. And yeah, and unfortunately, I'm in the cancer market now. I mean, I'm grateful to be here because I can help so many, but I do have so many listeners that are going through hard times that tune in to get some good advice on how to pursue physical and mental health during illness or injury.
So you're saying you're in cancer market right now,
Yeah.
and this support structures. All right. I saw on your website there are like a lot of different stuff you're doing. You have kids books, you have speaking roles, you have announcing racing, and the cancer related support groups and structures. What it is that attracts you these days?
Yeah, you know what's interesting is I do a variety of things, but it all is I'm a one trick pony. All I'm doing is trying to help people live better and longer. That is my laser focus in every effort I make. So when I stand on a stage for Disney or Oakley or Office Depot or any of these big or small companies, I'm trying to get these people to do better and be better. How do we get you to invest in your health, invest in your physical and mental health, and then choose wisely so you can advance your career and live the life you're trying to. I have the Cancer Comeback series books, and those are directly pointed to help cancer patients and survivors weaponize nutrition and exercise to help themselves get through treatment, get close to remission, get beyond treatment, and get back to vibrancy. I do not have children's books, but I do have a school running program called the Morning Mile that's in about 400 schools worldwide. I'm very proud of that. And then, of course, the race announcing. I make happy noise at start and finish lines for massive running events: Buffalo Marathon, Fargo Marathon, Los Angeles Marathon, OC Marathon. I'm on a microphone. I go blah blah blah. Alex, that's what I do. I make noise. I boss people around, and fortunately, I'm able to deliver messages that inspire people to uh, enhance their own darn lives.
Strong language that you're using,
Yeah,
weaponized nutrition. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
It's super nice to hear that. And I would be very appreciative if I hear your happy noises when I'm finishing a challenge such as a marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. So in my regular role as this fitness professional, and that's I would say that's the core of who I am. My master's degree is in exercise and sports sciences. So I've spent my whole life in the fitness industry, but via mass media, right? I don't work in gyms or teach classes or any of those things. I do media and health oriented stuff, but in that capacity, I'm always trying to twist people's arms and convince them you should exercise, right? Exercise will help you feel better and help you live longer and all of these things. And then on race day, a race organization says, Fitz, here's 20,000 athletes or 20,000 people who think exercise is going to be a good idea today. Can you make sure they know where to go, what to do, and have a great time? And so, of course, at that point, people are already doing the thing I want them to do. They're already exercising. I need to make it a professional, welcoming experience. And then when they hit my finish lines, I make sure every last one of them feels adored. And I love loving people, and I hug most of them and high five as many as I can. And it's just, I get to be the race mom or the race cheerleader. It's just, I love my people so much.
You have been in a great spot when you launched your YouTube in 2014, 16.
Oh gosh, YouTube. I go back to like 2008, maybe. It's been a long time on YouTube.
Yeah, that I believe has been a very different place from what we have now. And I am in this, I don't know, maybe the disadvantage because maybe I would have been better that playing field. So how was that for you when you first uploaded the video on the internet? What was it? Was it already a training related video or a vlog?
Yeah, so all of it was me promoting exercise and promoting healthy eating and how do I teach people? You know, uh, most fitness professionals, they work in a gym, right? And so in a gym, you can help one person, you can help maybe 50 people, but that's it. And to me, that's very unsatisfying. So the work I do is designed, everything I do is designed to hit at least 1,000 people, if not a million or more. And so my YouTube channel has always been like that. How do I create content that people around the world can click on and learn from? And then I think my very first video on YouTube, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it was me interviewing the Wiggles. Do you know who the Wiggles are?
Wiggles. No.
Okay, they are an Australian entertainers for children. They've had television shows and they travel the world doing concerts for preschoolers. But they're huge. They're mega millionaires. They're world famous. They're kind of like the Beatles for little kids. But my children were very small and they were watching the Wiggles. And one of the things I really loved about the Wiggles is they promoted exercise to the kids and they promoted healthy eating. And I found the other cartoons kept talking about junk food and chocolate and cupcakes. And the Wiggles kept saying, eat fruit salad, yummy, yummy. And so I reached out to their PR person. I said, hey, I'd love to talk to these guys. What's going on with them? And so I flew to Chicago and before one of their concerts, and I went backstage and I think I did about 8 different videos with the Wiggles, 5 different guys, and they showed me how they exercise while on tour, and it was just really, really fun. And those videos have blown up. They blew up way back then, so they've been very popular. I've worked with the Wiggles a bunch since. I've worked with a ton of celebrities over the years, but I could be wrong. But I think those were some of my very first YouTube videos.
That is actually crazy, but I do know who Wiggles are. I was not in the infosphere. They never touched me
Okay.
um, while growing up, while becoming the professional. But I do have YouTube Premium and I do have different interests. So I
Okay.
was watching a video about the innovation within uh, parks industry, and
Hmm.
Wiggles were there. They had their own park, and there was like uh, showcase how they implemented what Wiggles were into the park. So I do know that I know this thing. So when you reached out to those guys
Yeah.
with their yummy fruit salad,
That's right.
You hopped on the phone and said like, what about protein?
Oh, well, you know what? I don't coach them up on their healthy habits. They shared what they do. Everyone's got their own thing. I was at a Joan Jett conference. Do you know who Joan Jett is? She sings "I Love Rock and Roll." It's an old song.
No.
Okay, so she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's a mega rock star from the '80s, and I just was at her concert recently in somewhere in the U.S. But she's 65, and she's still on stage in spandex, rocking out on her guitar, singing like a boss. And so, what does it take for her to get to 65 and still be in such great shape? I mean, there's some rockers we know are doing drugs and drinking alcohol and not taking very good care of their bodies. And then you see someone like Joan Jett and you think, okay, well, this person has had to put some effort into her health to be able to sustain it for such a long time at a high level. And again, she looks great in this skinny, tight outfit. So speaking to someone like her to say, hey, how do you do it? Really resonates with other people, because there's me telling you, okay, these are the nuts and bolts of fitness. But when someone, if I got Taylor Swift in an interview and she told us how she exercised, people might be really motivated by that. So I've always found working with celebrities to be productive, because most of them say that they used to try dumb diets, and they used to try to get around avoid exercising, and then they learned that they just had to eat healthy and exercise and get sleep, and now they're performing at their best. So celebrities often do the job of delivering the message that I would like to deliver in a different way, right?
Right. But I'm thinking, yes, they have the platform, yes, they have the following to make the message impactful,
Yeah.
but are those really the right people to get advice from?
Well,
When we're talking about a rock star in spandex, I
yeah.
would say that biggest part of I don't know the person, but biggest part is the how she expenses with the calories in a spandex suit, being 2 hours on the stage, jumping and rocking would get rid of like what 6,000
Well,
calories straight away.
yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. And so I'm the expert. I don't ever go to a celebrity and say, how much protein should everybody consume? I don't do that. I say, what do you do? And then when people see this super fit star and they go, oh, she's also lifting weights. Oh, she's a vegetarian. Oh, she cut out alcohol. Maybe that's what I can do too. And so there's two parts to fitness motivation, right? There's someone like me saying, this is exactly how, these are the science based, evidence based tools and tactics to getting fit. And then there's regular people who say, yeah, Fitz told me what to do, and I lost 80 pounds and I'm feeling great. And then sometimes it's your favorite singer or your favorite actor. And whether we like it or not, people put those folks on a pedestal. And so if Tom Cruise tells you that at 60 something, he looks so great because he strength trains 4 days a week and he runs and he does ballet or whatever it is, people start to go, okay, maybe I'll do that too. And so there's the actual advice, and then there's living examples. And so I'm happy to work with celebrities that are going to share their healthy habits. And if they are doing something stupid, I'm always happy to point that out and saying that's a really dumb diet. You shouldn't be on it.
But how do you deal with the discrepancy when you work with the message that they're having? They're
Yeah.
saying, oh, how do I keep fit? I work out with my personal trainer 5 days a week,
Yeah.
and I have my personal chef that does not give me unhealthy food ever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you need to craft that into the message that is useful for a wide audience, saying, uh, excuse me, what exactly does your chef cook you? Or
You know
can I
what?
speak to them?
Yeah, I don't have to get into the weeds. I mean, most of them are saying I'm eating a lot of lean protein and I'm eating veggies and I'm eating fruits. And, the way you translate that for a regular person who doesn't have the budget for a private chef or a personal trainer, say, okay, they're exercising with the trainer, but they're still exercising. The personal trainer isn't doing the exercise for that person, right? If you exercise with or without a trainer, you will get these results. If you eat fruits and vegetables and lean proteins, much like this famous person is getting from a chef, you too can be healthy. And so, of course, there's got to be some understanding that not only does that person maybe have a greater income, but their career relies on their appearance. I mean, most accountants, they could do math without being in great shape, right? People will hire you to do math even if you're not attractive. But if you want to be successful in movies or even music, unfortunately, your appearance matters. And so there is a unique pressure put on those celebrities. But anyways, this isn't all about celebrities. I just happened to work with some of them. And those were some of my original YouTube videos. And I don't know. I still work with celebrities sometimes and they're fun. They're fun.
I've had this theory between accountants and being fit.
Yeah.
I've told it on the podcast to a sales professional who is an absolute madman. You could feel the sales energy staring right into you through the whole podcast. And what I shared was my theory that if I ever get a sales team, I want them to, when they close a client or they move the client from one stage to the next stage, I want them to do a physical exercise. Like, I moved from this stage to that stage, I do 10 push-ups.
Okay.
Then the next stage requires 5 minute run on a treadmill.
Good.
And
Yeah.
I
Great.
wanted to see the most senior sales executives to be the most fit out there. So if they're closing a lot of deals and they're bringing a lot of value to the company, I want to give them similar value in health benefits from making them run and do the push-ups.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's a direct correlation between fitness and professional success. I mean, number one are the executives in the Fortune 500 companies, the largest in the world, the most successful. Those executives making 10 to 100 million a year, almost all of them work out daily, whether it be in the morning or after work or during work. They force it in because they know fitness is essential to keep up with their agenda. They also know that, anyone walking in the room, if you're well, first impressions are made within 7 seconds. So if we're looking for a sales guy or you're a sales guy looking for a client or a customer, when someone looks at you, before they know about your education, your experience, before they know whether you're charismatic or nice, they're looking at you and they're making a judgment, right? They're looking at that person and saying, "Wow, that guy's a go-getter. Or that girl is super fit. She looks super energetic. Maybe someone who could really get the job done for me." Or they're looking at you thinking, I don't know if that person has the capacity to do the hard work, the demanding job I need, right? So they're judging you based on your physique, on the glimmer in your eye or not. If you're a tired person who hasn't been taking care of yourself or you're drinking alcohol, even if you're thin, they're going to look at you and they're going to see that fatigue on your face. And so your appearance, like it or not, may get you the job or take the job from you. So that's the first thing. People look at you and they make an assessment. Now, mind you, you might be able to convince them because you are educated or experienced or charismatic, but you certainly will make your life a lot easier if you show up at your best, whatever you deem that to be. And then the reality is, in order to get the job done, no matter what job you're doing, if you have a fit, healthy body, if you have stamina, if you have endurance, if you have high energy, because you are exercising and sleeping well and eating wisely, you are far more likely to perform in a way that people have their socks knocked off. People will be impressed by you because you are a bundle of energy who gets stuff done. And so when people think, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I've got a law degree for Harvard University." Okay, That's not everything, pal. I mean, it might help you, but there's these other intangibles that you can control. All the essence about you and your health and your energy, it certainly matters. And if you're terribly out of shape or terribly overweight or slovenly or tired or someone who's not put together, you are far less likely to get the job and get the job done.
This is a great speech. I really like that. I saw the benefit of people like me and you. We are pretty.
Yeah.
We are easy to get along because how we look, and we look fit. But the most valuable advice that I hear in you talking is that energy balance. Because when we are pushing ourselves to improve, to eat healthy, to exercise, we are not investing in just health. It's not just health, it's also your career, it's also
Yeah.
your work performance, it's how successful overall you are, because the energy translates in what you do. And it's not just knowledge, it's not just the degree
Yeah.
that you're getting. it's it really starts with how you nourish the body to do the stuff that your brain wants you.
Absolutely. And as a salesperson, they're buying you or not, right? They're either persuaded by you because you can capture their attention and their interest, or you're not. The other really important place that a healthy body and a healthy mind pays off is in your personal relationships. Because if you're not exercising, if you're not sleeping well, let's say you're eating poorly or drinking lots of alcohol, you're not going to be the best version of you. You're not going to be nice. You're not going to be patient. You're going to not manage stress very well. And you're probably going to lash out at your partner, your spouse, your children, your parents, your friends. You're probably going to be a worse version of yourself in the personality department. And so, simple investment in simple exercise and simple nutrition. And I don't need to tell people what healthy eating looks like. We all learned about that when we were 5. We learned about fruits and veggies and lean proteins and drinking water. And we know that drinking soda and alcohol and eating lots of cookies and candies and fried food is not healthy. So, more of the good stuff, less of the bad stuff, never dorky diets, never pills, never powders, never keto, never intermittent fasting, never any of that stuff. You just have to be reasonable. And the more good choices you make and the less bad choices you make, the better off you're going to be.
How given that we all know what a healthier diet will be, and
Yeah,
we all know how better exercise is correlated to better health, sometimes it becomes a problem when you're not doing the stuff, and it
of course.
becomes the guilt in your head because you know you're not doing good enough, you know you're not promoting the health within your family and not doing enough for yourself, and it becomes guilt that is weighting you down even more. So how do you set people to take the step to do more healthy diet, to do more sport?
Yeah, so I think starting by making sure people know it's important, and I think we've laid out that case right here that it's essential, it's necessary that you take care of your health. And then also let people know that it's really simple and uncomplicated. Fitness doesn't equal everyone has to run a marathon. Fitness means move your body. And there's 4 different ways I want people to move their body. There's cardiovascular and respiratory fitness, meaning the kind of exercise that makes you huff and puff. It could be walking or dancing or swimming or cycling or doing karate. As long as it makes you huff and puff, it's making your heart and lungs stronger. That type of exercise burns a lot of calories as well. We also have strength. Strength is your ability to push, pull, lift, and press against resistance. It doesn't have to be dumbbells. It could be bands. It could be Pilates. It could be body weight exercises like push ups and lunges and so forth. But strength is necessary. Total body strength will prevent you from sprains, strains, and tears from lifting things that you're not capable of lifting. So being strong is a really good idea. Being flexible, that's your body's ability to move in a wide variety of directions. Our joints were made to go in all sorts of different directions. Our hip and our shoulders, they do 360. Our spinal column will take us in a big circular pattern. It's we should be mobile. And so I encourage everybody to move their joints in their full range of motion every single day. And if you're on video, you're watching me wave my arms around forward and back. That's kind of the thing there is the more flexible you are, the less likely you are to incur sprains, strains, and tear. If you are flexible and strong, you are far less likely to get injured under any circumstances. And then last, balance. Balance training is very important so we don't fall down, because as a grown up, falling down can lead to catastrophic events, right? Broken nose, broken hip, cracked skull, humiliation. Nobody likes to fall. So it's cardio, fitness, strength, flexibility, balance. You do not have to be a professional bodybuilder. You do not have to be a marathon runner. What you do is have to, on a daily basis, try to become 1% better in each of those categories of fitness. So you're going to stand on one foot while you brush your teeth. Stand on one foot while you do that. That's getting 1% better with balance. When you let your dogs out to go potty, you're going to do some stretches. That's going to be your stretching time, right? You could also take a yoga class, but if you don't have time for that, you can just stretch while you let the dogs go potty, or during the commercial breaks. Strength training. You could go to the gym and do a 30-minute workout, or you can incorporate 10 push-ups here and 10 lunges there and some bicep curls with the stretchy bands. And then for cardiovascular endurance, you could either go for a run or walk the dogs. You can go for a wonderful bike ride with your kids, or you can stand in your living room and do 50 jumping jacks. And you can do a few sets of those throughout the day. So it's not about having this massive fitness routine. It's just about continuously trying to better yourself. And so, yeah, so I think we convince people that it's necessary, convince them that it's not so complicated. And then the last portion is that it can be fun. And, you know, people, they know I'm in the running industry. So they'll say, but I hate to run. And I say, I don't care if you run. Who cares? If you'd rather go play pickleball, do that. If people are pursuing exercises that they think are enjoyable, they're far more likely to pursue them, right? To stick with it. And so one of the things I'm doing right now is ballroom dance. And it is such a great time. I have a wicked tooth infection right now. And yesterday, I have this swollen face. And yesterday, I didn't feel very good, but I had my dance lesson and I thought, okay, I have to get up because that's fun. And so that dragged me out of bed because I really enjoy it. And so hopefully people will steer themselves towards enjoyable forms of fitness, and then they'll be able to stick with it. And when they see progress, hopefully they'll get excited about it and want to do more.
I can sense how sometimes the fitness influencers are too much,
Yeah,
because some things that I would really want to do that looks super fun on YouTube, I cannot do. I'm not super athletic, but
yeah,
I'm in shape. And I cannot do the stuff that they're doing while promoting little bit healthy. So I think that we would really benefit from the better understanding how little it takes. It's
yeah.
not about me doing uh, crazy crazy
Acrobatics.
calisthenics
Yeah,
crazy calisthenics stunts straight away. Sometimes to get started, you need to do squats. Like if 2 squats is the 1% improvement for you today, do 2 squats. You
that's
will
interesting.
do 3 squats in the next week every day. And this how small improvements can motivate you to keep doing it. Sometimes we are missing this puzzle when looking at the great results from influencers out there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting with the fitness influencer market. I mean, I would guess that most of them have no credentials in fitness. If maybe they got some sort of license out of a Cracker Jack box, they don't have a master's degree like I do. They don't have a PhD. They're not highly educated. Those folks are the look at me fitness influencers. Like, look what I can do. Look how hot I am in these tight pants. And then there's some of us who are out there to educate. You know, we're trying to say, how do I boil this down and make it understandable for people, or how do I make it look fun or encouraging? And so, you know, there's a bunch of different ways to be, and you just have to take those influencers that are showing off as entertainment versus education or have any pressure put on yourself because of the wonderful, incredible, fantastic things they can do.
Little things, and I see how the selective breeding is stupid when it goes too far, because when it's little things that matter, and the having fun while doing the thing is super important as well. We had so big of advantage with dogs, big dogs, dogs that like to run. To make the dogs happy, you need to go out to your house and be active and walk and maybe run and maybe socialize if by chance that you have neighbors or something, which is like totally healthy. And then we did selected breeding to make the kind of dogs that would be fine for a condo in Bangkok, because they don't need to walk. They hate running. They're scared of outdoors environment, and we don't need to exercise that much anymore. Dogs were fun. What kind of dog you have?
Oh, I have two dogs. I have a Labrador Greyhound mix. She's very athletic and very healthy. She's 15, which is pretty old for a dog, but we walk 2 to 3 miles every day, and she's still doing really well. And then I have a tiny dog, a 3-year-old Jack Russell Terrier mix, who's so much fun, and he keeps up with the older dog, and they wrestle and play. Joey keeps Piper young with his playfulness, and I start every single day if I'm home at the dog park or on a trail with those dogs, and they make me healthier, not only physically, but they make my mind so much clearer and so much happier. They're wonderful for stress relief.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One thing recently that I got to know is that when your dogs look at you, they feel the same uh, chemical mixture when somebody you love touches you.
Oh,
For
sweet.
us, for humans, is when somebody touches you. So basically, the dogs touch you with their eyes all the time. They look at you to feel love.
Do you have dogs?
No, I have a
Okay.
cat.
Okay. And
it,
what's your
it,
cat's
it does
name?
not does not care to too much to look at us. So her love would be expressing how she trusts us, and she
Okay.
trusts us by not looking at us, by
Okay.
turning her
This
back at
cat.
us. It shows that she trusts in us, and she's
Okay.
on the lookout of external dangers to protect our little family.
And what is your cat's name?
Madeline.
Madeline. That's pretty. That's very pretty. Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. It went real good in a new habitat in Thailand, because we got it back from Russia to Thailand, and she was very good with Thailand. She, I think, her ancestry has been from similar super hot climate.
Okay.
So she goes out, catches stuff, lizards and such, bats sometimes, brings it their home. So we are happy that she is active in this way that
Cool.
is good for her. So
Yeah.
she hunts, she explores. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whether we're talking about humans or animals, exercise is really important.
How do you like your public appearances now? Do you like more when you have this cheering at the finish line, or when you talk to a crowd of people to inspire them to better health and fitness?
So I could tell you that when I'm at a finish line, it's very exciting. It's very rowdy. It's intense excitement, and I love that. And I love connecting with people. And usually my races are massive, so I might get 10 to 20,000 people coming through. And there's I'm in heaven. In fact, when I had cancer, I continued to announce my races and speak throughout that 15 months of chemo and radiation and surgery. And no matter how sick I was, and sometimes I was so sick, and I'd fly across the country, which air flying in the, getting on a plane when you're very sick is not fun. I would sleep on the hotel bathroom floor. But when I got to the start line and the finish line, because I was so excited about my people, I didn't feel sick. Like all my negative side effects went away as long as I was with them. And so a finish line, a start line is heaven for me. However, when I'm on a stage doing a keynote or a presentation, that's the place where I get to uh, compel people, right? That's where I get to spend 30 minutes or an hour injecting quality information into people's head, getting them motivated and getting them to understand how to go about doing better and being better. And that's so rewarding for me. And so, it's they're pretty even, two very different experiences. But what I can tell you is I also work in television. I also do stuff like this. I work in radio and I write books. And even though I love that if I'm on television, sometimes I'm connecting with a million people, and that's very satisfying. The thing television lacks for me is the connection. So if I'm on a real stage with real people, they're nodding their head, they're laughing, they're asking questions, and I feel like we're together. And that's my favorite thing in the world. I mean, we talk about people being addicted to stuff. I am addicted to human contact. I love my audiences. I'm probably a little weird about it. I just love them so much, and I love my runners. And so, whatever I do live is always my favorite. And then, the media is great because it reaches more people. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very fortunate that I love all the things I do.
How do you feel about the up-to-date version of the same thing, working with the big audience as big as you would have on the television,
Yeah,
but on the internet, and this would be streaming?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is great. I just all those people listening to your show, I wish I could be in the room with them. Right? I wish they could ask me a question and say, "Oh, Fitz, what about this?" Or "That makes sense. I'm going to pursue that." I want to know them, right? I care so much about them. It makes me feel better when I'm with them. I'm a
Yeah,
nerd. I'm a
so
nerd,
I mean
Alex.
streaming, live streaming. So when
Oh,
you're streaming, you can have live chat that
yes.
says, "Hey, I have this issue, thumbs
Yes.
up." It's more digital. Yes, you can see the faces, but the audience is there. They are doing you a super fast feedback and saying, "Hey, yeah, I have this
Yes.
issue."
Yeah, that's a very happy medium. You're right. I've done that plenty of times, and it's a
You
very
did.
happy.
How was it?
Oh, great, great, great. I do live streams plenty in conjunction in partnership with my race organizations. And sometimes it's just me getting on, talking about fitness or racing and answering questions. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Again, it's not that same thing. I want to be able to hug people, Alex. I want to hold their hand, but yeah, streaming and connecting that way is pretty cool too. It's a great option.
Yeah, I have deep admiration for you because you mentioned that you are hugging everyone on the finish line and having a race where you have 20,000 participants.
Yeah.
Hugging 20,000 people means quite a big workout. So
Yeah.
you have like huge muscle to hug people
Yes.
super efficiently.
Yeah, and so that's I don't hug everybody. I mean, I'd be willing to, but some of them run by me. So many of them stop to get a hug, and boy, do I appreciate it. And what's great is that at a race, everybody's together, and so in our world, there's all these people say, "I want only women here," or "only brown people here or only Latinos here or whatever." And on race day, everybody's together. It's a huge group of people that line up at the start line. And it doesn't matter how old you are or what color you are or where you pray or how much money you have. Everybody's together, and we're all going to go, or they are all going to go the same distance, right? And they're all going to cross that same finish line. And I want every last one of them to feel as successful as the last. I mean, of course, there will be some people who win the race. Good for them. They'll get a trophy for that. But some people are just out there to accomplish something new or to beat themselves or just have the adventure. And all of that is to be celebrated. And so, I like that it's peaceful and it's supportive and it's a happy environment where everybody can be successful and be celebrated. It's a really cool thing. I love it.
I like this idea of everyone being successful because in the events such as this, your success is becoming something better, doing the challenge is
Yeah.
already your success, because you are working on improving yourself. You did improve yourself. You came, you participated.
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
I
did
mean,
you overcome the pandemic times? Because when you are in love with human contact and they lock you up, and but you did have the dogs, right?
well, I did. I did. So there was a bunch of things going on there. Is I was at the end of my cancer care. I had 3 months left of chemotherapy when the world shut down, and I had gone out fearlessly, not worried about germs, with cancer. I mean, I was the most immune compromised person on earth, and I wasn't terrified of germs. And then they shut the world down for a virus, and I thought, "Are you kidding me? For a respiratory virus? Give me a break." I thought it was very cowardly. I was very disappointed to see people in America being cowards, um, shutting down businesses and taking away freedoms. And freedom I hold very dear. Freedom is number one most important thing on my list. There's absolutely nothing that even comes close to freedom. So to see freedom taken away here, despicable. To see it around the world, also gross. But I was really frustrated by it all. And then, thankfully, I live in Florida. We call this the freedom state. So, in the freest country, we've got the freest state. And thankfully, our governor said, "No, no, Floridians, you go do your thing." We had this weird little lockdown for 2 weeks, and then he said, "Get out, go live your lives," and we did. But it was just really frustrating. And professionally, I lost 40 something events in 1 week. And so my career, my income is based off of live events, going to, do the work I do with all these people. And so when all of these events were shut down, not only was I heartbroken because I really wanted to go be with those people at those events, but I lost about a year and a half of income, which I just thought was just awful. I was mad. And so some people are still scared. Some people are still roaming around with masks on their face. They're driving around in their car alone with masks on their face. And, they're free to do that too. But yeah, I did not take very kindly to the pandemonium created by those insane lockdowns. And if I were in charge of the world, that would not have happened. So I'm glad it's over, and I'm hoping people learned enough to never allow that stuff to happen again.
Hopefully, for sure.
Yeah.
And live events, how do we you have very nice experience with those. How do we promote this thing that you talked about, when this togetherness of the live actual event where people come and do the thing together? Because we really have a lack of that stuff with today's everyone work from home. Nobody needs to other people for anything. So how do we uh, excite businesses about these opportunities to get people together and do something about it?
Yeah, it's interesting. My nephew, he's in his 20s. He was telling me the other day he has a job. It's a professional business, something or other, but he works from home. He works remotely, and he works on Sundays at a bar as a bartender. And he said, "Aunt Fitz, I work there on Sundays because I get really lonely doing my remote work, and I would understand people being very lonely. I mean, we're social creatures. We're like pack animals, like wolves. We need other people's contacts. So I like that some employers are saying, I know that you enjoy the comforts, the convenience of working at home, but I want you to come into the office twice a week. Like now, there's many companies are saying, come back, let's be together at least a couple of times a week, and you can still work from home the other days. I think that's a really wise effort on behalf of an employer. And then the other thing is, if you're a worker bee at home and you don't have the opportunity to work with folks, well, then you have to pursue that social culture, whether you join a running club or you join a guitar club or you go to, I don't know, live music and interact with people, or you just go to the mall and walk around, you go shopping. So I say, get up, get active. It's important for your mental health. I mean, one of the things we learned over COVID is that the suicide numbers skyrocketed. Being alone is no good for people. They've always said that people being alone at Christmas is one of the reasons, so many commit suicide, but just being alone in general. They were trying to save lives by confining people and not allowing them to exercise outdoors and do their job and go to school and so forth. But they cause so many deaths because of the stress and anxiety that came along with isolation. So the only people we should be isolating are prisoners, right? If you have murdered someone, if you have raped someone, you should have no access to society. But if you've got a cold, maybe keep your distance. If you're highly contagious, okay, stay home for a few days. But yeah, normal folks should be out interacting with other normal folks. And I think that's very important, not only for the body, but for the mind. And that mind is necessary.
True that hybrid workspace is the desired outcome for many
Yeah.
who work in a corporate structure right now. Do you have a recommendation for employers in terms of fitness, like fitness at the workplace? You have things like that. You know, in China, they do have social exercising places. So in the morning, your whole company goes to the roof or the outside place and you do some exercises. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I tell you what, China does a lot of things wrong, but I see some things that China's and just the Asian community, they really respect their physical health and they do some wonderful things. I give them kudos for that. As far as employers go, there's a lot of things an employer can do to encourage a healthy workforce and know that if your workforce is healthy, they will work better for you. They will produce more. They will call in sick less. They will be far more productive and you will make a lot more money if your employees are well. And so you could do that by having a fitness center within your facility. You could do that by having a walking club before or after work or during lunch hour where you incentivize your employees to get active and really you could incentivize them to take classes at night or be a member of a gym and actually show up. There could be this reward system where if they participate, if they exercise XYZ amount, they're going to receive a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or some money or I don't know, some sort of reward.
Company
And
stock.
then, huh?
Company stock.
Company stock. Absolutely. That's it. That's actually far more intelligent. Great ad. And then one of the things I really like is much like the Chinese are doing, I see construction companies, businesses that rely on their workforce doing serious manual labor. They get together and they stretch in the morning. They have a series of stretching exercises and balance and maybe some strength training for their workforce. So they start their day warming up their body. So they're less likely to be injured swinging a hammer or laying down a roof and so forth. And I think it's particularly interesting and wonderful to see a group of mostly men doing that stuff. I mean, you just expect women to do yoga and women to do stretching and stuff. But to see 45 guys in hard hats and jeans and work boots out there stretching before work, I really think that is a powerful experience and 1,000 stars go to the employer who has encouraged that. And again, that employer is not only benefiting the employee by making them less prone to injury and so forth, but that employer is brilliant because that employer is far less likely to have to pay the workers' compensation or the workers' medical costs and paying that worker for time off because they got injured on the job. And so you could really do a lot of things. I like walk and talk meetings. I encourage everybody, if you're going to be on a phone, you don't have to sit at a desk to have a conversation. You can put your earbuds in, put your phone in your pocket, and you could go for a walk. You could walk through the halls of your building. You could walk through the stairwells. You could walk loops around your building. You could walk down the street. But yeah, fitness can come in a whole variety of ways. And if you're creative, you can get it done for free or at a price. But no matter how you do it, it's going to benefit your business.
Definitely. I really looked forward for our conversation because of this specific topic of how business performance and fitness performance come together. One thing that I struggle to put in shape is that yes, we need to make it fun. We need to make it make it enjoyable to have this certain presence of working out or sport in our life. But my first attempts were not super effective because I thought, yoga. Yoga sounds awesome. We can do yoga and then do nothing. And it was not super effective because I, how I later discovered, I needed weight exercises anyhow. How much ever I do yoga, I still need to get weights in my hands
Yeah.
because otherwise I don't get too much growth hormone. So my muscles do not develop and they do not seem to be maintaining themselves either. Crazy. How do we shift? Because when, if I find something that I enjoy, I will keep doing that. I enjoy walking, I will only do walking. How do I incorporate other types of training within something that I found?
Yeah. So the thing we spoke about earlier in the podcast, when I said there's the cardiovascular point, there's strength, flexibility, and balance, those are the four pillars of fitness. And without any proficiency in either of those pillars, you are not fit. So if you can run a whole marathon, but you can't do 3 push ups, you're not fit. If you can do a whole bunch of strength training, but you can't climb a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing, you're not fit. And so, number one, it's important people know you must be proficient in strength, cardio, flexibility, and balance. Those are requirements for a fitness, for a fit body. And so, that's the information part. So people might say, okay, I want that. How do I figure out things that will allow me to enjoy it? And so, yeah, yoga, that checks off the stretching box. You're not going to have strong muscles if all you do is yoga, right? So, if you want to be in great shape cardiovascularly, well, you can't just do yoga and have a really powerful heart and lungs. And so, it's a combination. Now, we've talked about enjoyment, and I truly believe doing things you enjoy is going to make fitness a lot more easy, right? If you love dancing and that makes you huff and puff, do that. You don't have to ride a bike or run. If you love riding a bike and you hate dancing, fine, don't dance, but you have to choose one. And, there's a lot of things we do in our life that aren't necessarily fun, but we do them anyways because we like the outcome, right? And so
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody thinks brushing their teeth is fun. Woohoo! I'm brushing my teeth. We don't, it's just necessary if we want to have healthy teeth. We floss our teeth. It's not a party, but we do it because it's necessary for healthy teeth. Because what we don't like is we don't like cavities and we don't like having infections and pain in our teeth. We don't want to be toothless either. So we like to have teeth. So we brush and floss, whether that's fun or not. We would like to have money in the bank, right? We'd like to have a savings. We could just take our money and spend it all. Woohoo! That's real fun. Saving money, not necessarily a party, but if you want to own a home or if you want to own a vehicle or if you want to not be starving once you retire, you have to save money. And so, what I want people to know is these four pillars of fitness are essential: strength, flexibility, balance, and cardiovascular endurance. Those are essential to live long and live well. You might be able to pull off the living long part if you don't pursue these four pillars of fitness, but you're not going to live well and things are going to hurt.
Arguably.
Yeah, you might be stuck in bed, you might be stuck in a chair, you might have a lot of aches and pains, and that's no fun. Who wants to be 85 and falling down and breaking your hip and feeling crappy all the time? And so, if you would like to live long and well, you will take my advice, and whether you like stretching or not, you'll do it. Whether you like balance training or not, you'll do it, and so on and so on. So, um, there's a lot of excuse makers. There's a lot of victims. A lot of people say, I can't. Okay, well, don't. And then you and only you will pay the consequence. Because if you are not going to stretch and then you tear your hamstring or you pull your back out, it's not going to affect me. You're going to be the one sitting in agony over these torn or strained muscles. And so we can lead the horse to water. We can't force them to drink. What I'm hoping is that people will take this advice and be motivated to start doing something. And once they get the ball rolling, it'll be easier to stay in motion. But yeah, if somebody's committed to being unfit and unhealthy, okay, your life sucks for you. It's going to get harder. I want better for you, but you have to take responsibility for yourself. I know I'm so pointed, by the way. I know, Alex, I'm so pointed, but I care
What do you
about
mean by
people.
that? What
Like,
do you mean? What does it mean? I don't know.
it's not aggressive, but I don't hold back, right? I'm not being gentle with my words. I'm direct. I'm very direct. And someone might think, oh, she's horrible for telling me the truth. But I love these people so much, I have to tell them the truth.
Definitely, this is part of the curse of empathy. When
Yeah,
when you're empathetic towards the person and you see them not doing too well for themselves, yes, you get an pointy, you get an angry, saying, "Hey, what you doing? There is, you know the stuff. You know about how to diet, you know about sport, and you're not doing that because of what? Because you cannot be bothered by investing some time into yourself.
yeah,
Crazy, right?
yeah, yeah.
We cannot be just lean and mild about it. You are
That's right.
being stupid, and this is a harsh word, and but
Harsh.
it is correct.
Yes, that's right. Harsh is the word I was using. Harsh and pointed, the same. But yeah, it's I really care. I really care. I hope people care as much about themselves as I care about them.
What does the next year bring to you in the professional and personal way?
Yeah, so I have a ton of keynotes coming up where I'll be speaking to wonderful audiences all around America, which I'm thrilled about. I'm always happy to leave the country to do it too. Right now, the only thing I do have planned though is in the United States, and then a whole bunch of races to announce. I'm working on my fifth book, which will be a general fitness book for the general public. My spin on things to help people lose weight and get in shape and stay in shape forever. And yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know. Oh, I know. I'm going to swim with whale sharks in a month. There's a massive aquarium in Georgia in Atlanta, and there's these 50-foot whale sharks in their massive aquarium, and I'm going to get in the tank and swim with them. So that's personal for me. I'm really excited about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And do you plan to produce more the how-to videos on the
Yeah.
fitness front?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I keep them coming, It's the only problem with those videos is I try to look nice. And sometimes I'm lazy, Alex. Sometimes I don't want to put on makeup and I don't want to do my hair and I don't want to look cute. So, um, but when I'm willing to do that, I get on camera and create some content to help people work out. And as you know, fitzness.com is filled with tons of free videos for people to use, whether they want to learn how to stretch or learn how to strength train or do some cardio. There's a ton of free videos and recipes and the exact formula for weight loss and all of that stuff on the website. So I try to keep educational, motivational content coming to just keep poking and pushing people forward.
Awesome. I really like this idea when you have the knowledge, you have the skill to motivate people to do stuff, and you also showing them how. This is the mix of the content that I really admire in a educator like you.
Thank you.
Well, sharks.
Whale sharks. Yeah.
Is it dangerous? Are you
No,
scared like a little bit?
no, not even a little. So they don't eat big things. They eat like plankton, the little, I don't know, they eat the little things that just kind of um, go through their mouth. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, they don't pursue large animals and people do it safely in this aquarium. It's an aquarium that's the size of two football fields. It's ginormous. And I didn't even believe you could have whale sharks in captivity, but they do. They have two, and there's stingrays and all sorts of different fish. But yeah, people swim in the aquarium all the time, and I love animals. I love being outside. I love the ocean. I love the animals. The only thing that makes me nervous is I know the tank of water is going to be freezing and I'm not very good at being cold. So I'm a little nervous about getting in cold water, but I'll be snorkeling. And golly, if they'd let me, I'd kiss the whale. It's a shark, really. But anyhow, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
I'm happy they have big place to live, because when I think aquarium, I'm like, aquarium,
Yeah.
whale shark does not match really. But
N-
two football fields seems like to be a nice, at least.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm with you. I mean, sometimes I love zoos. I love animals. And sometimes I look at animals in the zoo and it breaks my heart. I feel like, oh, that animal, I wish they were out in the real world doing real world animal stuff. But the benefit of having zoos and aquariums is it gives humans access to see and learn and fall in love with those animals, and we're so much less likely to do harm to animals in the wild once we have fallen in love with them, you know. And I think people are donating money to save the whales and to preserve endangered species and so forth. So I do also feel really sad for some of these animals and think, that's not enough. That's not enough. But it does make me feel better knowing that their presence in a zoo is helping more humans fall in love with them and be a little more considerate of nature in the wild.
Great. We will leave the link to your website, fitzness.com, right?
Yeah, fitznes.com. That's the website. And then I'm at Fitzness on all social channels, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And, you know, if people follow, I promise quality content in return. But really, what I would love for them to do is follow and then connect and say, hey, I heard you on the Big Performance Podcast. I'd like to be besties. And then we can be besties. Because as I've mentioned, I love connecting with people.
Awesome. We will do the website and we will do YouTube, because I expect great things from you there as well. And this
Thank you.
as a closest you can get to the masses audience, where that has the way to connect straight away, comment and say, hey, I did that. I succeeded a little bit. So that's cool.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Thanks so much for having me on your show. This has been awesome.
Thank you.